What's up, everybody? I'm Tawan.
And I'm Tierra Leanne.
And I'm Terrell, and you're about to be
Rewired.
What's up, y'all? We back with another episode of Rewired, and today we want to look at things from an alternative perspective and talk about the mind and the power of positive thinking and how positive thinking can affect us in different areas of life.
Definitely. Everybody, please excuse me. I just got to get my self-care on. I was at the gym getting me some, some therapeutic release in, so I'm a little sweaty, but bear with me.
Definitely.
Okay.
So the first area of positive thinking that I thought about that we need to address is how to change the mindset of our children. Because we like to come from a place where we empowering the kids, because the kids is important to us here at Rewire, right?
Mm-hmm. I like that you implement the kids.
You like that I came from the kid standpoint?
Yes.
Yeah, I love the kids.
We love the kids here at Rewire.
Yes.
And we want to highlight the fact that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. I got that off from my brother Board, as a matter of fact. So we want to think positive so that our actions can follow that positive thought process.
Definitely. And along with the kid perspective, I thought of 3 different ways that kids are impacted by the way they think. The first way is academically. The second way is athletically. And the third way is socially.
Oh.
So when I was thinking about positive thinking academically, I feel like it makes a difference in the way a kid performs academically if they have confidence in their ability to excel.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And confidence comes from preparation.
So true.
So if the kid is prepared and they have confidence in themselves, and they'll get the best out of their abilities whenever they're evaluated academically.
How do we facilitate that process, though?
I think we facilitate that first by just having self-awareness and understanding why a kid is able to excel sometimes, and that same kid is not able to excel in other classes. Like maybe a kid got all A's in certain classes and then an F in another class. So what's the difference? Because the student is not changing.
Definitely.
And that person's work ethic is not changing, and the amount of knowledge that's in that person's brain is not changing. So what's different between that person in period 1 and that person in the last period of the day? So I'm thinking the only thing that's probably different is their confidence in their ability to excel in the academic area that they're in.
Definitely. What would you say is a way that we can instill confidence in the youth?
Practice. I feel like practice makes perfect. Like if a kid
allowing your child to go for things. Like, don't try to be a dream killer. If your kids tell you they want to do something and they really got their mind set to do it, don't be so quick to say that they can't do it. Give them a chance to try different things. And also instill in them confidence. You know, you can tell them how great they are, how smart they are, how fast they are, how athletic they are, you know.
Definitely.
Things like that will definitely help with kids' confidence.
Definitely.
One thing that I think is an unorthodox way to look at it, but I think is important, is to try to build resilience in your kid. Like, my daughter is actually here now. What's up, Lennox? How you doing? Daddy loves you. But I try my best to push her into things that she may not even feel confident in, so that even if she fails, at least she knows that she tried.
Yeah.
I also don't like to rescue her from the natural consequences of her own attempts.
Yeah.
If you try, you don't do so good, then you learn something from that experience and you do differently the next time. I'm not going to jump in there and rescue you, and then you don't get an opportunity to develop that confidence.
Yeah, that's another thing too that builds confidence, the ability to understand that you can fail and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because if you never felt failure before, it's like this huge thing that you're dreading. Like tomorrow is not going to come if I don't reach this goal. You know what I'm saying? But to try things and fail and get back up on the horse, you know what I'm saying? That builds confidence in itself,
Yes.
I think.
So true. I was thinking from a mental health standpoint, but I don't want to skip over you, Miss Tierra. Leanne.
Are you talking about kids?
No, we still on the kids.
Okay.
Oh,
I
got
want
more
to
to
talk
say
about
the
adults.
kids.
So I'm gonna let y'all go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and
chime in
finish
on
the kids.
Okay, another way is athletically, and I think we kind of touched on athletic confidence and changing your athletic mindset as a child. And I feel like that's another example as to where the people who achieve are the people who are more confident and can get the most out of their athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we as parents can do a good job for advocating for our kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to take a little bit more active of a role and understand like what my kid is actually good at. You know what I'm saying? And if a lot of times the coaches of the teams and the people who administrate the teams, they have ulterior motives to win games, you know what I'm saying, to sell tickets, to do other things outside of look at the best interest for your child.
Definitely.
So in order to change our thought process on that and to rewire, we can't just send our kids to football practice like it's a babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just send our kids to basketball practice and say, okay, he out my hair for 3 hours. I'm finna go do this.
Mm-hmm.
We actually got to sit in practice and say, hey, man, they playing you out of position. Or, hey, my kid is good. What can he do to earn some more playing time? Or something like that. Like, we just have to take a more active role.
Definitely. What do you think was the first opportunity for you to earn some confidence in sports?
Man, the first opportunity? The first opportunity was probably trying out for football in 7th grade. Because before then, it was just like, it's just sign up. Yeah,
the tryouts is the hardest
the
part.
The trials make or break you.
You go down that list, you don't see that name, you say,
Exactly.
You get that coon, baby.
I think
sick.
sports is just good, period, for children. And nowadays, I feel like a lot of kids, they're not as active as, we were.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like taken away from the sportsmanship, the confidence, the whole, communication, social skills. It's taken away from all of that because I remember with me, I cheered. People don't look at it as a sport, but I do. Because guess what?
Cool.
Have y'all ever watched Bring It On?
I watched Bring It On.
It's a sport.
Oh,
now.
it's a sport.
So
now.
don't
That's
get
what-
it twisted.
That's what changes it to a sport.
Yes, it builds your confidence.
That's
You
true.
have to try out. You have to look good. You have to be willing to win. Do what it takes. You got to work out. You got to do a lot of things.
You gotta be competitive.
You have to be competitive. You have to really learn how to take a L. If you take a L, you just know that you can get back up and you can win the next time. That's all that's about.
I thought of something else that's kind of along those lines, but it's something that people I don't think would initially think was a benefit of sports.
What?
Sports, in terms of having a positive mindset, there's a proven link between your mental and physical health.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are physically active and physically feeling good, then that translates into you feeling better mentally, which will translate into a more positive mindset in general. I know personally, if I haven't worked out in a couple of days, I'm grouchy. I'm like feeling bloated. I don't feel myself.
Yeah.
So it's almost like brushing my teeth. I'm not in the right headspace if I don't get some type of physical activity.
Definitely. Yeah. Same way.
Structure.
Yeah, I want to go back to the kids one more time, and I'm going to get off the kids. The last thing I feel like need to be rewired is just the social aptitude and the ability to allow our kids to not be social.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to fall into a sedentary lifestyle and come in and get on YouTube all day, or you know what I'm saying, watch movies, which is fine. It has its place in society, but we gotta get active out here too, and we have to encourage our kids to interact with other kids their age, like other peers. You know what I'm saying? Because that's getting lost. Like I think it's getting like people are thinking of it like old school.
Yeah, it's not in style.
Yeah, it ain't in style. Just to go up and have a conversation with a person.
Even have like an outdoor activity. I'm saying?
even like with COVID going on, we have to make a even greater conscious effort. Like it's not even going to just happen organically. Like we have to go initiate that thing. Like take your kid around another kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, y'all go do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, my point was just basically, I wanted to really get into positive thinking because that's one of my number one therapeutic approaches with my clients. Like, I feel like it is so important for us to realize the power of positive thinking and how to fight off those negative thoughts. Those thoughts in your head that tell you that you can't do it, that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy. You have to learn how to build yourself up. And I was just telling my client the other day, and we had a really good conversation. I really love this session. I was just letting her know, like, when it comes to positive thinking, it's like you versus you. You know, like those thoughts that you have coming through your mind, you got to learn how to fight that off. Like, and it's not even with kids, it's adults, everybody. We all go through it. We all have negative thoughts. It's normal. So.
Definitely. I was actually going to hit on that same topic, but just from a different perspective. As you all know, we are all mental health therapists. And when I get an opportunity, I try my best to advocate for mental health therapy from a standpoint of it's not something that you have to dread. It's not something that you have to look at as a punishment. It's not something that means you crazy or means you weak or mean anything but you taking a proactive approach to your positive mindset like we talking about, right? One thing I also try to do is translate the mental health jargon that might go over some people's heads into something that's realistic and applicable, something you can understand, something you can digest, right?
Yeah.
So when we talking about the power of the mind and how much of an impact it has over us, one thing that I thought about was it's a tribe of people that's in the Himalayan mountains. Have you ever heard this story before? So they in the Himalayan mountains and they have so much mind control that they in one of the coldest climates and they don't have like no shelter or nothing like that. They can heat their bodies up just by using the power of the mind to the point where you can put a towel on them and the towel starts steaming. Mm-hmm. That's how impactful your mind can be over your physical experiences. So just like Tiara said, there are whole theoretical frameworks that focus on translating negative and irrational thoughts into more positive thoughts. Yeah. But I think it's important to understand where those negative thoughts come from. Those, like you said, those negative thoughts are natural, but they come from a place of protection. Yeah. Like when you enter into a situation, your natural thought process is one that tries to prepare you for the worst case scenario. Yeah. That's that negative thought process. What we have to do is be aware of that one, and two, be prepared to confront it.
And that was going to be my next question because that's something that Tiara mentioned. We have to fight those urges like you your biggest competition. Definitely. So how do we do that? Like what are some techniques to fight those negative thoughts that creep into the back of your mind like a little thief in the night?
Understanding that it's okay to get not have it all the way figured out. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be in a place where you may feel dark. It's okay to be in a place where you don't believe in yourself. But it's up to you to ultimately, that's why I say it's up to you to fight that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You have to literally fight. When I get in these moments and I notice I'm just thinking, I'm having these negative thoughts. I'm just creating, because a lot of times we just create these illusions in our head, especially worst case scenario, right? You can be talking to a friend, or let's say your friend walk in here right now, right? And your friend walks in and he speaks to me and him. He doesn't speak to you. He just speaks to everybody in the room. And your mind might go straight to
we beefing. Oh, we beefing.
And a lot of times it's like that just because that's just how our mind works. But you have to fight and it comes with growth, as I always say. Because Rewire, that's the whole purpose of this podcast, because we're trying to rewire things. So with that, you have to literally retrack everything, retrace it, and really put it together. Oh no, this is not what's happening. let me think something positive. Maybe he didn't see me. Maybe I was distracted. Maybe sometimes you have to be. And if people think because you're thinking positive that you're being naive or that you are not paying attention to what can happen, the unpleasant things that can occur, when that's not the case. It's just like manifestation. If you think that all of the great things are going to happen to you, 9 times out of 10 they are. If you think all of the bad things are going to happen to you, 9 times out of 10 they are.
Definitely.
That's just the trick to it. So my thing is, why not trick yourself? We have to learn to trick ourselves into believing the good things are going to happen because you're worthy of it. It can be a million things that go wrong, but if you have those 3 things that's going right, sometimes it's best to focus on what's going right because what's going wrong is out of your control. Definitely. And the best thing that you could do is just control what's in your control.
That's what I was going to say too. Couple of points you hit on, and I just wanted to kind of put a little bit more behind it. That trick yourself method that you was referring to, I think that's very important. But I think it's important to understand why that works. When you thinking negatively, whether you're conscious of this or not conscious of this, your behavior start to mimic that negative thought process.
Yes.
And they become counterproductive. When you thinking positively, whether you're conscious of it or not, then those positive actions start to happen, and before you know it, you're putting yourself closer and closer to that positive thought. Yeah. So it's a logical thing that happens that is a direct, aftermath of that thought process. Mm-hmm. The other thing you hit on was the way you look at a situation. The way you look at a situation is what determines your reaction to that situation.
Absolutely.
2 things can happen to you. It's something you can control or something you can't control. The first thing you need to do is get to that place of awareness where you understand this is something I can control or this is something I can't control. If it's something you can't control, then you need to try to control your perception of the situation. Mm-hmm. So like, if you're in a situation that ain't going to change, you looking at all the negative things about it, you might want to switch that thought process and start thinking about the positive things. And then that way that situation is a different situation when it really ain't a different situation. It's really the same situation, you're just looking at it differently.
Okay. So what I'm hearing y'all saying is 2 things to confront these negative thoughts. The first one, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Mm-hmm. The first one is don't panic.
Don't panic.
Mm-hmm. Don't get yourself in a situation where you're compounding the negative outcomes because you're focusing and dwelling.
Dwelling is a no-no.
And then have self-awareness and understand, what's going on.
Yeah, don't be naive about it, but understand it.
Yeah, get some understanding about the misunderstanding.
Right, and focus more on the solution than the problem.
Please go to the solution.
Especially when it comes to lifestyle, just livelihood. That's all in thinking positive too. Because some people, they think, oh, I don't have no money, I don't have this, I don't have that. It's not about what you don't have. It's about what you want. And if you want it, you can get it.
And if they have problems with that, then what do they need to get? Themselves or what?
A therapist.
A therapist.
Exactly.
A therapist to rewire everything. We have to, even our environment plays a big part in us thinking positive. Just how culturally, sometimes we limit ourselves. We don't see the bigger picture. We don't see all of the glitz and glam. So it's like, oh no, that can't happen to me. Well, it can happen to you. You just gotta put yourself in that mind state.
And in the right environment.
In the right environment, around the right people.
Yeah, because somebody told me, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change your room.
Right.
Definitely. Here's the other part too. To add to that list you was making, you said don't panic. Mm-hmm. Self-awareness. And then the third one I would add is perception.
Perception.
You gotta change your perception.
Rewire that.
Rewire. If let's just say you look like Tierra said, you're looking at all the stuff that you don't got. How about you start looking at the stuff that you do have?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people, and I actually heard a stat that the happiest people make about $70,000 to $80,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Under that is a little stressful.
Yeah.
Over that is surprisingly more stressful because they say more money, more problems.
More
You
competitive.
start looking at, like you said, what you don't got versus what you got. If you got enough to survive and you cool with that,
Yeah.
the happiest people I know ain't the richest.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? The people that I know with the most money, they always worried about where's the money gonna come from? Is it gonna keep coming in? What do I look like while I'm making the money? Do people know I got the money? What if somebody think I don't got it? So it gets stressful.
Just so many thoughts running through your mind. Like, just relax. Woosah.
I've had
Inside.
clients in the past that their main cause of their mental health symptoms was their own perception of the situation they was in.
Mm-hmm.
I've had clients that was completely comfortable in terms of what they had in life, but looked at it as a dysfunctional situation just because they was used to better.
Yeah.
But I've also had clients that didn't have nothing, but was completely happy with that.
Yeah.
If you even driving to work, pay attention while you driving to work, and all them people on the sidewalk with their headphones in, walking and
Super happy.
singing and
Dancing.
kicking it. But look at the person in the car next to you. They gonna flip you off.
They in the Benz.
They in the Benz. They mad at you because you come. It's like, it's just the way you look at the situation.
It's
Sometimes
always
people with the
something.
least amount of stuff got a better outlook and can be rich in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Than the person that got a lot of material things. So sometimes you just gotta rewire the thought process.
And you don't have to be the person that always think of things in a bad way or think of things in a negative way just because you've been through a lot. Because for everybody, we all done been through stuff. We all done had negative moments. We all done had things that happen to us that's not so great. But on the flip side, you can flip it around and you can still make your lifestyle positive just by rewiring.
You just made me think of something too that's kind of, I think the person that's going through the situation rarely think about this, but if you always going through something and you always in a bad mood, that drains everybody around you.
It does.
Everybody around you is like, dang, here he come. He in a bad mood again today. You know what I'm saying? So think about, the people around you. You might want to rewire your thought process for that reason too.
You do.
All right, everybody. This has been a conversation with the Rewire cast about thinking positively, about the power of the mind, about how you can control your reaction to situations and scenarios that you go through based on the way you look at those situations.
Your perception is your reality.
Your perception is your reality.
And it's you versus you.
You your own biggest competition.
Yes.
One more cliche for y'all. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right.
You're right.
Special little tipper.
I actually just talked about you last episode of how you want a brand new Corvette for your first car.
Yeah, they said you
Or a
wanted a
Tesla.
Lamborghini or a Tesla or a Corvette.
Oh my god.
Phil, your uncle did on covering thinking positive for kids.
I liked it.
Do you think that thinking positive would be beneficial for you in your kid world?
Yes.
Can you think of a time when you didn't think so positive and something bad happened? This is my last question.
I thought I was gonna fall down the stairs and I fell down the stairs.
See?
Ooh,
Wow.
that's a good one right there.
Mind over matter.
One last thing I want you to do. Say, you have been rewired. Look at the camera.
You have been rewired.
Yeah.
Please follow us on Instagram. We are Rewired Podcast _ On YouTube, we are Rewired Podcast 2020. And that's it for us. You have been
Rewired.